Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're just gonna be doing a trying new makeup, just a tutorial. I really wanna focus in on these new palettes from Huda Beauty. These are the new haze palettes. So we have purple haze and khaki. Khaki, I think, is what I'm gonna go for, which is these really beautiful kind of like green fall colors. So I just wanna do like a fall makeup tutorial. I also have this really pretty palette from Pixi. I thought that we could try out on the cheeks. It has like highlighters and kind of like a contour bronze, blush. Also the new NARS Climax Extreme Mascara. I have Hailey's Beauty. They sent me over a package, but I want to try their primer and then also their loose powder. I've seen some sponsored stuff going around, so I want to try that for you guys, as well as their sponge. And then I also just wanted to demo the Gucci bronzer. I haven't done that on camera yet. I have this from Kaleidos, which is a contour palette, so I might just use this to contour before we go in with the Pixi or the Gucci. I have the Laneige Cream Skin Mist. I just have a bunch of products, some nude sticks, so I'm just gonna kind of play around, really wanna focus in on those palettes. So if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my uploads, since YouTube doesn't like to do that. I do a ton of trying new makeup videos, tons of reviews, Sephora hauls, all of that stuff, and let's go ahead and begin. So I wanna start out with this primer from Hailey's Beauty. This is their foundation primer, which is supposed to be like a pore filling primer. So they are available, or they were available at Target. I'm not sure now, but the packaging is quite interesting. I mean, I've never seen packaging like this, and you just squeeze it out and it has a flesh tone, but again, it's like very sheer. This is definitely a silicone type of primer, so this would be for pores. The texture reminds me of almost like the Stellar Beauty one that I really love. It's just very silicone. I don't think it's going to make your makeup like hang on longer. I think it's more literally just to blur the skin. I think I used too much. Holy shit, Babs, calm down here. So it's very slick, very silicone, very blurring over your imperfections. For foundation, I am gonna go in with my NARS Soft Matte. This is something I'm still testing, but I used it in my last video if you missed it. Maybe I should zoom out so you can actually see me. So I'm gonna use the shade Stromboli Medium 3 because I just did a fresh tan. I might add in a tiny bit of, what is this, Valeris Medium 1.5. Neither of these match me perfectly, so we will just make a little cocktail. I'm gonna use this Hailey's Beauty sponge. They sent this over and it feels very soft. It's a little bit bigger than a beauty blender, but it feels very similar. I've heard great things. So I'm just going to grab some foundation and start applying. So as you can see, this shade is a little yellow for me, but they sent 3 shades and none of them really were the perfect match. So I kind of try to mix. This is a super high coverage foundation. So here's the foundation. It's very high coverage. I don't notice that it's like super smoothing, but it's also not texture enhancing. It wears pretty well, not as much as like an Estee Lauder Double Wear, but a good, 8 hours. I'm gonna go in with my Pat McGrath. This is the Skin Fetish Concealer, and I'm just gonna apply it. I have the shade LM8, and I'm gonna let it sit for a minute to really build up coverage. The NARS foundation is not the right shade for me. I'm having such a hard time with finding the right shade, especially because you can't go in store, or you can, but you can't swatch stuff. And I try to match to like my self tanner or when my tanner's wearing off. And I love like the new Too Faced Born This Way matte. I've been loving it, but I have the shade Vanilla, which is what they sent me. And it's just more of like, I don't know, every day, like when my tan wears off after 4 or 5 days. It's just not dark enough to use, but I've been loving this. And then that NARS one, I either have the shade 1.5 that's a little too kind of gray almost. It makes me look a little bit weird, or the really yellow one, which is Stromboli. So it's kind of frustrating because I'm like, oh, I can't like go swatch stuff in store. I think I'm gonna order another of the Too Faced Born This Way though, because they sent me this one. They only sent me 1 shade, and I think I'm gonna order maybe like Natural Beige, which is a few steps up, and then I can kind of mix them together. But this is the shade LM8 from the Pat McGrath. I've really been loving this. If you need coverage, but you like kind of a hydrated whipped feel, I think you would really enjoy this. So I've been reaching for it a lot lately. So I'm gonna start blending this out. I really do like this sponge from Hailey's Beauty. I mean, it's very comparable to a beauty blender, so I believe this is like $10 possibly, so. Okay, I wanna go in with this Hailey's Beauty Retouch Perfecting Loose Setting Powder. I don't know if there's different shades. This is just the one that they sent me. Just looks very similar to like a Laura Mercier original setting powder. So I'm gonna make sure I don't have any creases, and I'm gonna use this to bake. Kind of pull it down on my pore area. It's definitely thinner in texture than the Laura Mercier. Looks nice and smoothing too. And the shade works for me. Again, I don't know if there's different shades. So I'm just gonna use this to set my entire face. So now that we have a blank canvas, I did my brows off camera and I need to retouch them, but we'll work on that when we're done with the eyes. So I'm gonna go in with this Huda Beauty palette. This is the Khaki Haze. So she has the khaki, and then she has the purple, and then there was another one which I think was like stone possibly, or sand. This is what the purple one looks like. I feel like it's super beautiful, but we've seen this purple color story before. I really wanna go in with this khaki one. I love these 9pan palettes. I love just, I don't know, the aesthetic of them. I like how she keeps doing different colorways. My camera is literally going to be the death of me. So here's what the inside looks like. It just is like a mossy green neutral palette. Okay, so I'm actually gonna start with the middle shade, which is that beautiful matte green. So I'm gonna start by just kind of placing this on the outer corner here. So what are your thoughts on holiday releases and holiday makeup? It's interesting because I feel like they're coming out with so many like bang for your buck kind of collections, where if you really wanted to try something but you didn't want to like go and spend $30 on a lipstick or whatever, you can get like a set. So I feel like it's a great time to kind of stock up on your favorites, or maybe try stuff, like I said, that you didn't want to spend full price for and you wanted to kind of sample. I do think some companies just go with the same thing over and over and over and over again. And that's the only thing, like sometimes I'm like, okay, like we've done this thing a million times, so let's try something new. I don't know, like some brands just seem to come out with the same collection or the same holiday collection every year. And it's like, you know, let's try something different, but I do think there's a lot of sets that it's like a bang for your buck, like just getting a lot for your money. So that's nice. But I do feel like we slow down on the new because it's just a lot of like their existing line kind of packaged together. So I really haven't seen anything that I'm like crazy excited about. Like these Huda palettes, I was excited about. The new Natasha Denona Glam palette I'm excited about. But again, it's newer stuff. Not so much kind of like their existing line. I'm next gonna go into the deepest shade, which is this chocolate brown. So have you guys been watching Love Island? I know I spoke about it in my last video, but I'm telling you, this season is so good. This is giving me like UK vibes. They just did such a good job casting this year. I'm really just loving it because, you know, we're in quarantine and I'm bored and I look forward to watching it. I love it this year. The first year they did it in the US, it was tragic. Like I was like, what? It didn't even feel like Love Island, and they're doing such a good job. So been enjoying that. And you know, Big Brother's kind of boring me so far because it's just the same alliance winning everything. So once they have to start turning on each other, then I think it'll get interesting, which I mean, trash TV at its finest. I wouldn't say Big Brother's like trash TV, but you know what I mean? It's like, we want to see you guys fight, you know? We want to see you guys backstab each other. Who's going to vote out who? Okay, so I'm having some fallout. No big deal. I'm going to go into this shade and I'm going to start kind of just blending this in here, just to make sure that everything's blending. So fall is upon us. And I love fall. The only thing I don't like about it is that winter comes so soon. And I just don't want that. I wish we could have fall for like 3 months. I feel like that would be great. So I've got all my fall candles ready and fall plugins and just little fall decor. I don't go crazy with fall decor only because it's so short that I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna spend like $500 every year just trying to like decorate for a month. So I like to have just a couple little fall accents. So this is blending really nicely. I was a little worried because I've had issues with specifically like those mossy greens. I'm thinking like Subculture or even the Jaclyn Hill Vault. Those greens just tend to get patchy, but I'm not really having that issue so far, so that is nice. Taking a little bit of that green just to really reinforce this. So what new makeup are you guys excited about? Again, I feel like there's not a ton right now. It ebbs and flows. You know, it's like the Rare Beauty I was super excited for. And then like when Patrick Ta comes out with stuff, these palettes I was excited for. It kind of goes up and down. It could change, you know, at the drop of a hat. So right now I'm kind of just like, I like to use what I like to use. And I have so many favorites that I just keep loving and reaching for. So I'm kind of just focusing on those. But I have to say the brands that really are standing out to me right now are like Tower 28, Patrick Ta for sure. I love his products. Nabla Cosmetics is really wowing me lately. So I'm tending to go for M Cosmetics is another brand. I love their stuff. I'm more into, I guess, maybe like newer brands lately, which is kind of interesting. So for the lid, these are the two shades I'm thinking, and I think I wanna go in with the deeper one. I'm gonna go ahead and take this on my finger. This is a pretty deep, kind of mossy green, almost has like black gold kind of feel to it. I might go over it with a little bit of that lighter shade. It's so hard to get in there with my nails. Ooh, the fallout is real. I might go in with the lighter shade after this. I am gonna go in with this lighter shade right up here. I'm just gonna pop this right in the center here, and I did wet this. Ooh, okay, like that. Just gives it a little bit more of a pop. So I went ahead and applied it on my finger and then just sprayed my finger with a setting spray, just to really make it stand out. So I went ahead and did my wings, and oh, did I struggle, and I regret it. I wish I wouldn't have done them because I feel like it looked better before, but you know, what can you do now? So I'm gonna go in with the Climax Extreme Mascara from NARS. This is their newest mascara, and it has quite a thick wand, kind of similar to the Too Faced Damn Girl. So I have used this a couple times and I do really like it. It's gonna be hard to see because this thick liner on. It's a pretty slick formula, so not super thick. So I'm not sure if you can even see my lashes. They're so sad. But I do like this. Like I've tried it a few times when I had nothing on, and it really did make my lashes look long and voluminous. The only thing is it did get all over my lid. So I would suggest like waiting for it to dry and then using a spoolie to remove it. But I did really like it. It's just, you know, I have no lashes. So I went ahead and put my lashes on. I'm gonna go in with this Kaleidos makeup. This is the Charisma Contour Palette, and I have the shade Medium. So I'm just going to mix the two shades just to contour. They look really pigmented, so I'm just gonna start lightly. And I don't really contour, honestly, unless I'm filming. Not as pigmented as I had thought. To bronze, I'm gonna go in with my Gucci bronzer. This is the shade 03. I don't know if I've demoed this on camera, but it's a little bit more of like a red toned bronzer. I like this. I do think it's not the easiest to work with, meaning that it can get like kind of grabby, like it can grab if you use too much pressure. So I do like it, but I don't know, I don't like it more than like my Nabla or my Buxom or kind of my favorites. For blush, I'm gonna go in with this Pixi palette. This is the Honey Nectar palette. So it has a blush, two highlights, and kind of like a bronzy contour. So the blush seems really pigmented. It's just like a nice neutral, I wouldn't say neutral, but just like a regular kind of pink shade. And I adore blush, so I tend to go a little heavy. I'm gonna go into this gold highlight shade. So I'm wondering if this is the same formula. It doesn't feel like it. No, it's not. It's a little bit more rough in texture, more powdery. I was wondering if it's the same formula as like their Delicate Dew. I'm not loving that. Feels like it's kind of grabbing in areas and then glitter fallout. Ooh, I don't like that. And I mean, highlighters are kind of hard to mess up. So now I want to work on finishing the eyes. I'm going to go in with my Nabla Arrow number 2. It's like a brown kind of liner. And I want to apply this in the waterline and underneath and really smudge it out. So I'm going to start with underneath here. And then just take a really small brush before it locks down and just start. And then going into the waterline here. So to bring a little bit of warmth back, I am gonna go in with the lightest kind of brown shade. I'm gonna use this and really just like smoke this. I'm not the best with smoky looks just because I feel like they're just harder to do to make everything look nice and seamless. And also, a lot of the times the liner in my lash line really bothers me, or in my waterline. So it's just not like my favorite go-to. So I really want to smoke almost like under my eye bags here. And then I'm going to go into the green, the deep green, and go over that. So to add a little bit of pizzazz, I'm going in with that deep green. Well, I'm kind of mixing both greens. So this one and this one. And I want to just put this right in the center of the lower lash line. Give me some sparkle. And I did wet my brush. All right, so I went ahead and did my hair off camera, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this Laneige Cream Skin Mist. This is like a hydrating for normal to dry skin. I haven't tried this on my skin yet, I don't believe, and I thought I would demo it. Ooh, nice mister. No scent that I can detect. I was looking a little bit dry, I thought so. I like that. So for my lips, I think I want to use this Nude Sticks Magnetic Lip Plush Paint, and this is in Tahiti Hottie. Is that what it says? Yes. So you can use these on your lips or your cheeks. I don't know if that's pigmented enough for my lips. So I want something a little bit more opaque. I'm gonna go in with Sable Smoke from Tom Ford. And then right in the center, I wanna go in with 90s Runway. This is from KKW. Just to lighten it a little bit. All right guys, so here's my finished makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me do just more of a smoky look. And I wanna tell you my thoughts on the product, starting with the primer from Hailey's Beauty. I do like this. It's a very smoothing primer, very similar to the Stellar Brilliance primer that I love, or the Tarte one that I love in the pot. This is a little bit thinner, a little bit more slip. So I do like this. I feel like my pores look really nice, so I'm gonna keep using this. Of course, I like the NARS foundation, as I mentioned. I just don't have the right shade. I feel like once I put everything on, it looks fine, but definitely want to get a different shade, so maybe I will grab one from Sephora. And I really am enjoying the Hailey's Beauty sponge. Feels very similar to a beauty blender for a better price. Now, in terms of the powder, I actually really like it. I feel like it didn't lighten my foundation to where it looked kind of like ghostly, but it did give me that really smooth effect, which is what I look for. It's definitely thinner than the Laura Mercier. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of, but I can't pinpoint it off the top of my head. It's kind of medium. It's not super fine like the By Terry, but it's not like the Laura Mercier, which is more of a thick baking. But I did find this quite smoothing, which is what I look for. Of course, standout product today is this Huda palette. I had no issues blending at all. Now, some of these shimmers are more iridescent. You're gonna have to really build them up, as you guys could see, but I felt like everything blended beautifully. I was a little nervous specifically with that green, but it blended great. So this is gorgeous. And I do like the NARS Climax Extreme Mascara. Of course, Every time I do these on camera, when I'm doing full glam, you can't tell, but this really does give me volume and lift. Very similar to, or volume and length, very similar to the Damn Girl from Too Faced. So if you like more of a thicker wand that really kind of gets in there, I think you would enjoy this. It can get a little messy, so just keep that in mind. Honestly, not very impressed with this Kaleidos contour palette. I don't know, the shades just didn't do it for me. Of course, I just tried it once, but I definitely prefer my Dior palette. And the Gucci bronzer, again, the packaging just kills me. It's so pretty. Again, I like it. I like the color of it, and it does have a little bit of a radiance to it. It looks beautiful on the skin, but I would say be careful because once you place it, it can grab a little bit. I have noticed that, and I've been using this for a while now. Probably the worst product I tried today is this Pixie palette. Hate to say it, but the blush is so-so, and the highlight, like that is literally, that is not the formula that I love from them. I feel like I was just like having a moment of like, am I seeing that right? I thought this was gonna be like their duos, which is like Delicate Dew, gorgeous, high shine, and this was not it. So unfortunately, I would not recommend that. As far as the nude sticks, I think they're a little sheer for the lips. I actually prefer these on the cheeks. I did use Hot Paprika a few weeks ago or a month ago, and I really loved it, and I just applied it, you know, on my cheeks as a cream blush. So they're a little sheer for me on the lips. Moving on to the Laneige Mist. This is a very nice staple product. So it's gonna melt your powders in, get rid of that powdery finish. It's not heavily scented. It's not gonna kind of disrupt your makeup, and it's not going to add length onto your makeup. If you're looking for long wear, the Charlotte Tilbury is incredible. I almost didn't get this, and it's one of my favorite products right now. But if you're looking for something truly just to melt your powders in, get rid of that dry finish, and I think you could even use this before, honestly. Like, it feels just like so light and airy, like you could use it, you know, before your makeup to give you kind of like a hydrated base. So I think it's really nice. It's just a back to basics kind of product. All right, guys, so that is everything for this trying new makeup. Let me know what you thought of this makeup down below, what you want to see next. I definitely want to use the Natasha Denona Glam palette in my next trying new makeup when it gets here. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. I will link everything down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.